So I wanted to go over a few things with you guys. I'm going to be doing the Snugpak Scorpion 2 10 preview, and I'm going to be setting that up and doing that. But I also wanted to go over something that I was thinking about, and I kind of wanted to do a change up on this whole thing that I'm doing with the blog and videos and now, and I wanted to do just a name for the whole project, just kind of to top it all off and get it set. And I want it to be something that I carry on through JMT after that. I want to kind of keep blogging and keep going over gear reviews and things like that. So I want to call it the Walden project because of Henry Thoreau, or through, I don't know exactly how it's pronounced, but he went out into the outdoors, and he wrote a book, and it was called Walden, and he was completely independent when he did it. He cut down trees and made a cabin and did all of that by himself. And I kind of want to be able to have that independence in the outdoors, and that's something that only people of the outdoors can say, is that they have that kind of independence, that ability to sorry about the wind, guys, but it is what it is. But that independence that you have from backpacking, camping itself, I think is something that really exemplifies that. And so I'm going to be calling it the Walden Project, and I hope it's going to continue after JMT if I have the time. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. My dad came up with that name, and thanks, Dad. But so we have the Snugpak, and I'm really excited to start using this tent. There's a lot of things that I really liked about it when I took it out of the package and all that. And I mean, I really liked the fly first pitch. That's really something that, if you guys read my post on my blog, it was something that I think that should be incorporated in more tents now. Because it's so perfect for when you're in inclement weather, and you pitch the fly up first, so that then you're not getting the interior of your tent all wet and all your gear all wet, and because you don't want to sleep in a puddle of water. All the seams came taped and sealed, and I checked practically every seam, not all of them, but even the interior of the tent, the bathtub floor, was taped inside and out. And it's a really durable tape job, I think. I wasn't expecting it to be super high quality, but it's pretty top notch. When I took the tent out and put it up for the first time, I didn't film it, but it was much larger than I thought. I thought it was going to be more of a one-man tent with gear, but it really could be a two-person tent. And that's something that I like, is that versatility. But if you have your gear in there, there's no reason why you wouldn't bring your gear on the inside of the tent. It'll keep your gear more safe, and it won't get all wet. And if you put it in the vestibule, it could have rain on it or snow or whatever. But if you put it on the interior of the tent, it's going to be much better. And I really like that feature, the ability to have your stuff on the inside with you. And it did have a pretty large vestibule. Not too big, probably big enough for some boots. If you were to put your pack out there, you could. If you were sleeping with two people, you could probably put your pack in there. But it's a fair size, I'd say. It's a good size for the tent. Yeah, it definitely would fit one person better than two, I think. But if you had to do it, it'd be okay. I mean, you wouldn't be on top of each other. You would be sleeping right next to each other, but you'd probably want to be pretty close with the person. I really like the color, and that's something that's kind of dumb to say, but I don't really like the flashiness of all the tents that are coming out now. I really like the low-key nature of this tent. It's not meant to be super super flashy and for everyone to see it. And I really like that. I think it's pretty cool. Durability of the tent. I haven't tested that out yet. This is just a preview of the tent, but I think it's a pretty durable tent. It's a ripstop nylon, and I think it's really durable. But I want to test it out a lot. So, it seems pretty waterproof. The interior of the fly is basically the same as the bathtub floor. It's this sticky type of waterproof coating, and I think it's going to be really good. A few of the dislikes is that the exterior of the tent looks a lot bigger than the interior. I thought it was going to be, when I put up the tent, I didn't know that it was going to be, because it has that latch-on type of setup that you latch on the interior of the tent to the exterior of the tent. It made it, because there's a few inches gap, and that's kind of nice for condensation. I'd say ventilation is pretty good, but also the interior of the tent is much smaller than the exterior of the tent. Makes it look. Staking points. So I'll show you this when I set it up, but there's 2 grommets, and they have those 2 grommets for, one is for your pole to go into, and then the other one, they say in the instructions that it's for aftermarket stakes, and I would have liked if they had made that second grommet big enough for the stakes that it comes with, because you have to fold over the staking point to get in, and I wish it would have been metal. I could see a little bit of a durability issue that going there, in the way that it may, I don't know, the edges on the stakes are a little bit sharp, so I'm not sure if it'll wear through that. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start setting this up, and I'll set up the camera over there, and I am going to be doing an overnight preview, so I'm going to be sleeping in it tonight, and I'll come back with you guys when I start setting up. So I'm going to be starting on the preview of this tent. So I really like this sack that comes in. It does add a little bit of weight, but I probably wouldn't take it if I were to go with it in a pack. But just for keeping it nice, and when you're just storing it around the house, it's pretty good. It does come with a repair kit, and it has all of the fabrics. And one thing that I also noticed, it has a pull thing. One thing that I also noticed is that this bag and the bag that it comes with is made out of the same fabric as the fly. So if you really needed, if you had a big hole and you needed it, and you had this with you, you could probably cut a hole in this and stitch it up. That's just something that if it was like a last stitch thing. It comes with extra cord for the guy lines and extra staking point. And then also, the area where the bag is connected is the same as the latching point on the interior of the tent. You'll see that in a second. So, I really did like that they included a repair kit, but I wouldn't be bringing it with me. I would consolidate it and take what I need. Stakes, these are pretty nice stakes. If they're Snugpak stakes, they're not DAC. The poles that it comes with are DAC Featherlights, but these ones are Snugpaks themselves, and they're pretty nice. So I did like them. It's just a try design like that. But so moving on to the tent itself. So you have the interior of the tent right here, and then the flies on the inside. Okay. So you have your poles right here, and these are DAC Featherlight, like I said. And one thing that I really liked about this is, not necessarily for me, but for the user that does not know how to set up this tent, they have color-coded on here. So you see this gray pole that coordinates to the gray sleeve, and this green pole coordinates to the green sleeve. And I'll show you that when I start to set it up. But that's there. And then this is the fly of the tent. Of course, since this is a fly first pitch tent, we're gonna set up this first. So I'll come back with you guys while I start setting. So hey guys, I just set up the fly, and I spread out the fly, and I'm going to set it up now. So we are going to start by staking down the two front stakes, and the only reason is because I don't want it to fly away in the wind. Okay, now we're going to start with the grade pull. And now the next green pull. We're going from top to bottom, so this is the top pull, and then the next pull will be the one over there, and that one goes under this next pull. Also, something about these the green pulls is that they have a slight curve to them on one particular side, and that side you want to put towards the front. Because of the way that the curve of the pull is, it makes the tent a different shape. Yeah, you definitely want to put that towards the front. And the last but not least, the final pull. Sometimes you just have to adjust the tubing. Okay. And now we are ready to stand the tent up. So we need to start with this grade pull. And next, this pull. And lastly, this pull. That's why I wanted to stake it down in the front, just in case that happened. And that is Okay, I'll come back and do a walk around with you guys. Okay, so guys, when I was staking this tent down, I was really not happy with these stakes. I was taking one of them out because I placed it wrong, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but it completely bent. And on the first stake I put in, I guess I didn't hit it right or something, and the whole head completely bent. So I am not satisfied with these stakes at all. I would either say, if you had to use these stakes, make sure that you hit them completely head on, or, you know, get some aftermarket stakes from DAC or something like that, because Snugpak really did not come through on these stakes. But actually I am really quite satisfied with the tent itself, all completely finished and done like that. When it's completely staked out, it's a really good looking tent. And when I was talking about the 2 grommet points, I was talking about those. So this first grommet point right here, that is the tent grommet point, and then this is made for an aftermarket stake, something thinner, like a little pole. But this is where you see you have to kind of flip this over and put the stake in right there. But you have ventilation ports right there, and there is guidelines. I didn't need to use them. I'm not going to be going through anything too severe tonight. All the stake down points right there, more ventilation. It's a really good looking tent. Another stake down point. It's where the poles connect. You have your guy line, another ventilation port. It's really symmetrical tent, so nothing really changes. And then you have your front door right here. And this is about the size of the vestibule, and then the tent comes up to about right here. So yeah, I'm gonna take this camera off the tripod, and I'll take you guys inside. Okay, so guys, I'm back. Let's go ahead and head inside this tent. So you have Velcro here at the bottom, and you have Velcro up, and then it just goes all the way up. So let's go ahead. Velcro. It's kind of hard to do one-handed, but I mean, it works. So let's just go ahead and throw this over. Okay, so that's the tent opened up, and it does look like a fairly large tent, but once you get the interior in there and you get inside the interior, it'll look quite different. So this shadow that you're seeing right there, that's just the lid of the tent. But right here you have all these little points, and those are the points that connect to the interior of the tent. So you can see your ventilation has mesh right here, and yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this up on the tripod and get the interior of the tent starting to get hooked up. Okay, I'll see you guys then. Okay, so hey guys, I just spread out the interior of the tent, and I'm gonna be hooking it up to the fly. So basically what it is, it's just like a little loop with I don't really know what to call it, but it's just you take this little peg and put it in the hole, and then you also have these clips to clip into the tent. And that was something that I wrote down on my blog that I was pretty worried about, was the tautness of the tent and how it could become tighter to the interior. And with these, once you tighten them down after you hook it up, it makes it just fine. So I'm gonna start hooking that up, and then yeah. So I would say the only thing that I don't like about it is that you kind of have to crawl on your tent to hook all these up. But the good thing about it is that the fly pitch first is one of those things that I really like about this tent. And I've said it before, but basically the way that this works is you can put all of your gear onto the interior of the tent, kind of like a sleeping bag, and you just stuff it all in here. and that keeps it off the wet or snowy ground, whatever kind of condition you're in. And from that you can sit on the outside, and or you can curl it up into a ball and unroll it as you do it. But you do this, and it keeps your gear dry, and it keeps the interior of your tent drier than it would be if you were setting it up out in the rain or the snow. And I don't know, I just think it's a really unique feature, and I think more tents should add it in and do that. But I am almost done with this. There's a lot of points, which I think is good because it keeps the tent taut, and there's no points at the top, which I liked because it kept that sleek design, and also it could have been an issue for waterproof because a lot of the water would have shed off from there. Okay. And they put more points on the stress points of the tent, so as you roll, the tent won't roll around inside the fly, which I thought was really nice. There are definitely a lot of points. For somebody with back problems, I think that it could be an issue. But also if you're going camping, you're going to kind of expect that. Because you don't really get to lay down or sit. You kind of have to hunch your back and get it all like that. So basically I'm just clipping these points in and then latching it on so that the whole left side of the tent is done now. And now we're going to move to the right. And I haven't really found out a good system to do it yet, but I think top to bottom will be the best to work. Because if you work bottom to top, you kind of cover up your work and you can't really see what you're doing. But yeah, I recommend reading the instructions that it comes with, because after reading it, some of the things you wouldn't really think about, but when you're putting in the poles and things like that, like I was talking about with the bottom pole first, that's really helpful when you're doing that, because it's harder to get the pole to become tense and to get it to be taut, to get the tent to be taut if you're having to work over another top pole. Okay. And like I said before, you could open up this door and close off the vestibule, and what that would do is that would cover you completely from the rain. And I don't know, I just think they thought it really well through. Okay. And now we're all clipped in, and we're just gonna come on the outside of the tent. And for these little interior ones here, you can just give it a good tug. But now we're gonna come around and just reach under the tent and hold the floor snug. Okay. And now let's head inside. So they have a double zipper here, and it's a two-way zipper, and then you also have the fly mesh that you can detach from the inside. And something that I thought was really cool, if you could come here, you can roll this up and basically keep it very organized by, you have this pocket here that you can use, and then you have the same kind of loop here with the peg, and then you can do that, and it keeps it away and out of your way when you're loading in gear. So I thought that was really nice. Okay, so we may be pressed for light here, but there's pocketing all the way around, and that's something that I really like for organizational wise for your gear. But one of the first things I noticed with this tent was how dark it was once you got on the inside. And for me, I think that's something that I really like. Because on JMT, we're gonna have to be going to bed early some nights, and for some of those more sensitive sleepers, I think that this would be a really good feature because, I mean, if there's like blaring sun on your tent or the sun is just going down, you're still gonna have a lot of light. And for me, I know that I go to sleep better when it's completely dark or there's just a little bit of light. So this is pretty nice. What it could be an issue with was that when you're trying to wake up in the morning, the sun won't get through as much, so you may be more likely to sleep in. But I really do like, I mean, as you can see, there's a little bit of movement, but that's basically it. It won't touch the fly. And for condensation, I think there's a pretty good barrier. I'd say it's about a 2 to 3 inch gap in between the interior of the tent to the fly. The floor, I can just feel by touching it. It's very waterproof. And all of the seams are taped inside and out on the floor. And yeah, so that's basically it for the interior of the tent. I'm gonna take off my shoes and give you a size comparison. I'm 5'6". I'm gonna take out my knife and my keys because I don't want to puncture the bottom. But I'm 5'6", and when I scoot all the way down with my toes touching the end of the tent, I have a fair amount of space for headroom, enough room for a pack and a little bit more. Once you close this door, it doesn't sag as much and you don't have this. So it scoots practically about here. So you have more than enough room for a pack here if you wanted to use it as your pillow. And I mean, the size of this tent, like I was saying, the interior is much smaller than the fly. And if you were to be sleeping with another person in here, there would be a center line, and I think there would be more than enough room for 2 people. You definitely have enough room for 2 packs outside in the vestibule, but for 1 person, you could definitely bring your kid in with you, and I think it wouldn't be an issue at all. And even with 2 people, it's a very roomy tent. I'd say that the ventilation, I'm not too sure how it's gonna go. I'm pretty sure it's gonna do well, but I need to be in a little bit more of a rainy area. This is the mid of summer not the tail end of summer in Oregon. So we are gonna be, I want to test this out in the winter time when it's a little bit more rainy, and maybe go out in the snow, depending on that. But I'm definitely gonna be doing I'm gonna be sleeping in it tonight, and then I'll come back tomorrow and give you my thoughts and feelings, how I slept, and I don't think it'll make a difference. I'm just kind of worried about heat using it in the mid of summer because you do have to attach the interior of the tent. So I'm wondering how hot I'm going to get. And I mean, if ventilation is good, I'm going to keep the vents open, but I don't think it'll be an issue. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll come back to you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, so I'm just in the tent. I just got back in it, and I'm gonna be heading to bed in a minute. I'm just doing the editing for the video right now, so that's what you see, the light. It's my computer, but this light back here, right here, is my mini mag light, and I just took off the cap and I'm using it as a lantern. But I'm really happy with the space and the way I've configured my gear, because I brought out some gear. You probably can't see that, but I'm in like a 25-degree bag right now. It was just what I had laying around, so I'm pretty warm. But I mean, the air inside the tent isn't too bad. I'm just in my backyard, and I think it's about 75, almost 80 degrees. This is in August of Oregon, so I mean, it doesn't get too hot, but it's not that bad. So yeah, I'm really happy with the space. It's a really good tent. So I'll come back in the morning and tell you if I wake up, if anything happens with the tent, if wind wakes me up or something like that. But yeah, see ya. Hey guys, Luke here. I'm just coming back to you guys in the morning. The tent did really well. I was really happy with it. It was really warm, but it wasn't too warm. I think the ventilation was nice. At about like 2 or 3 o'clock, it started to get colder, and I zipped up my whole sleeping bag. But yeah, I mean, it did really well, and I felt really comfortable inside. It wasn't squished or too big or anything, so it was just the right size. And I'll give you guys another overview of it. But yeah, so it's the Scorpion 2. There you guys go. Thanks for watching.